hot here in North Idaho right now. All right. I know I'm live, but my channel's not showing that I'm live. How you guys doing today? There we go. I'm trying not to touch the screen. I'm curbing my poor habit. Oop, there we go. All right. Okay, sorry, I was a few minutes late. I was doing water and getting everything around, and I'm really excited because I was able to sweep up my messes and get everything tidy so I can sit here and enjoy you guys and not see my mess. So that makes it so much nicer. So I'm gonna get cozy. I was concentrating on getting on here and YouTube was giving me struggles. So I imagine it's hot in your neck of the woods. Shelley, I saw you post something on the community, and I believe you and I are getting the same weather upcoming. I'm predicting that Miss Copper and I are going to go down to the river and sit in the river just to cool off. Either that or I'm going to find a cattle trough before now and then. Either way, I don't want her in the cattle trough with me, and I think she'd enjoy it. So I think the river's probably where we're headed. You guys are chit-chatting. I love it. Shelley says, I'm at work, and a nurse will be visiting sometime, so I may miss some. All right. Well, we are glad you are here. Thank you, Miss Deb. She says, love your hat. Yes, these bangs are driving me mad. They're that terrible length that you can't pull them back, and they have a mind of their own, and they just get so aggravating. So it's either a little clip in a weird place or a hat, and it's hot out, so this makes it nice to block the sun too. So I'm heading out in my garden next after we are done here, and then I'm spending my entire afternoon working on my book. So I was very regimented this morning, been up since like 4:30 and have been working on all my chores so that I can get everything done and I can work in my allotted time on my book. And it's so nice. I love it. And these early mornings are nice because it's nice and comfortable and cool. Let me see. I'm doing it again. Miss Toika's in the house. Miss Tammy's in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Shelley says it is supposed to hit 37 on Sunday, and that is without the humidex. Yeah, we're looking at 105. Now, when we had 90, when we had 110 on our thermometer outside, the forecast for the day was only 90. So I'm a little worried as to what it's going to be this weekend. It's going to be terrible, but it'll be all right. Let me see. Mill says, I will have to leave Bible study early tonight. Have an early morning tomorrow road trip. Well, road trips are good. That means that there's a truck on the road, so that's a good thing maybe. And road trips are fun, so I'm glad you'll be able to join us anyway for a little while, so that's good. And many of you guys joined yesterday with Millie. That was a really fun experience. We did my podcast live, which I've never done before, and that was really exciting. I love Millie. She's such a dear friend. And I heard from her this morning, and her placement on Amazon today is amazing. She is #1 in 3 different categories. So keep sharing the book with your friends. Tell them to go to TrayerWilderness.com/MillieCopper and pick up their book for their 10 books for $1.99. I know Shelley said it was $2.45 in Canada, but what a great price for such a bundle. We all know what it's worth, so really amazing. And after doing that with Millie yesterday, I'm actually thinking, I've been asking the Mountain Boy to do another interview with me and update everybody, especially his community. And I think I might do that live so that people can ask him questions. So I'm not sure when we'll do that. It'll probably be either sometime yet this week or next week, because the following week he starts school. And we're not sure exactly when he starts at AutoZone, but all his paperwork is done. Everything has been processed. So the next step is just going in for training and getting the special attire and so forth. So pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff. Mill says we have cooler weather yesterday and today. Got much needed some rain. Awesome. Yesterday was bizarre. I woke up and I have been so spoiled by the sun. And it was funny how Millie mentioned you know, that you can only do what the sun provides when you're off grid. Well, we've had such tremendous sun. I've been leaving the internet on. Well, I left the internet on all night, just assuming because the forecast said we'd have sun. And it ended up being cloudy all day till like 5 o'clock when the sun finally popped out. So I was at a deficit right off the bat. And it rained, just spritzed a little bit in the morning, but it was just cloudy and humid all day yesterday. It was just very bizarre. I would have loved to have rain because we definitely need the rain. Let me see here. I saw Tammy's message. Tammy said Caleb is so happy Austin got the job. I know. I'm so excited, and I figured Caleb would be. Caleb was a reference for Austin. They met when we met with Tammy, and Caleb works at AutoZone in Montana. So his reference helped Austin, I'm sure, greatly. And it was just really awesome. I'm so excited. The other thing is AutoZone, one of their benefits is tuition reimbursement. So that may work out really well for Austin moving forward because there's other certifications he wants to go for. Right now he's going for, I think it's AES, but he wants to do diesel as well. So it's pretty awesome. Their benefit package is fabulous. Of course, he's part-time, so he can't participate in that right now. But I'm hoping that just with getting his feet in the door, he'll be able to expand there and step into a full-time position at some point. So it's pretty awesome. So yes, give Caleb a huge hug and tell him thank you. Mill says, yes, truck is fixed. Okay, that's a huge praise. I ran to town, what day was that? Tuesday, to pick up the package that Keith had waiting for me at the post office, and the whole way there our truck was blowing black smoke, so that's not a good sign. That's typically injectors. And she's tired. She's really tired, so we're hoping that something else falls in our laps because that's what we've been praying for. I want God to pick it for us because it's just kind of like houses and apartments. You just don't know what you're going to get when you're dealing with other people and even car lots. I just don't have a whole lot of faith in car salesmen. And I mean no disrespect to any of you out there that might be a car salesman. We've just had some bad experiences. So let me see here. Shelley says, I cannot wait to read Millie's books back to back. Yeah, right? Instead of the anticipation of waiting for the next one. And I'm sure that we'll glean more from them. I'm anxious too, actually. Although I am fortunate enough to be reading her next book at this point, being part of her beta team. So I'm delving into that right now. I'll tell you what. I am in a book frenzy. You know, you guys, we were all talking about it yesterday with Millie about having so many books. Books have always been a kind of a fetish of mine. I love reading. And I know there's a lot of people that read and then they pass their books on, but I like keeping them and rereading them. I mean, if it's a good book, I hang on to it. If it's not such a good book, I often will, take it to the thrift store or resell it or something. But Kindles create a whole new ball game, and I'm not only reading fiction, I'm reading a lot of nonfiction. I talk about doing neuroplasticity and I read a lot of growth books, self-growth books, and I just love educating myself. So I've got so many books, it's insane. And I also have audiobooks, and I don't do those very often. I try to be really frugal with my spending, you know that. So I am cautious with that, but certain books are nice to listen to. So let me see here. Deb says, congrats for Austin and the new job. Yeah, he's really excited. He's real excited. How is it going with Austin and his dog Bowser? It is going great. He is adjusted. The first day there, he was pretty skitsy. He has a tendency to be that way until he gets accustomed to things. They had fans set up in the hallways and stuff, and there were things in the way. Of course, it's all new people. But Austin said he can tell that he's getting more comfortable because he's not like right at his side. He ventures down to visit the other guys so that he can get additional pettings and then comes back. So he's getting comfortable. And the day that we moved in, Austin and I ran out to go to Walmart to get dog food, and we stopped to get something to eat at Chipotle. And when we came back, he was crying and carrying on, and the one guy said he howled while we were gone. I've never heard him do that. So that was really funny. But the guys all went to church on Sunday, and Austin said when he came back, he was just ridiculous with his crying and stuff. But he's a good house dog. He's a good dog, and I know that he'll be a good therapy dog there for everybody. So the guys are super excited that they have the opportunity to have a dog in the house, because that wasn't something that was offered before. A lot of the other houses for the church, that's not an option. But this one was, and it worked out really good. So thank you for asking. Yeah, they're doing really good. Austin is anxiously anticipating the arrival of his desk. He needed a desk in the room, and he found one that was cheap, that was new, that suited all his needs. But it's one he has to put together. So I know that's going to be an interesting challenge, just because usually when you get those things, you're on a wing and a prayer with their instructions. They aren't always the best. And this thing, he's going to need extra hands, which he'll have. So it'll be good. I'm also excited to see, when I was on the phone with him the other day, we were doing some of the AutoZone stuff. I was FaceTiming him, and one of the other guys came in to talk to him. So he's in a really good place. Really, really good place. Shelley says, got my retired librarian stepmother reading Millie's series, and she is hooked and was sad she missed the live yesterday, but we'll be watching it sometime soon. Awesome. Awesome. It's really funny. You know, sometimes people are just very selective on their reading, not just librarians, but I hope more people really delve into Millie's book, because we all know the benefits to it. It really did spur a lot of thought. And for many people, that's important. Many of us already have that thought process. And we may have gained something more reading Millie's book, but there's so many people out there that don't have that instant thought process to really think the way we do. And I know that it's a nurturing book in that regard. But it's also I just love reading it. I love her characters. Hello, Miss Kelly. I love the pictures. Miss Deb shared the pictures of you and Cortney and Deb, and I am just so excited. I'm creating a board of what God is doing in our community, and I absolutely love it. Shelley says, I am thinking I might be reading some Kindle books in front of our portable air conditioner the next few days. Might be too hot to even be outside. I'm trying to get all my outside work done today and tomorrow for that exact reason. And you know what? Being forced in here is a good thing. I got through 66 pages of my book on Monday. And I got through quite a few yesterday. As a matter of fact, I didn't count. But I have a lot of pages to go, but I'm progressing very well. So today will be another day doing that, and then Saturday and maybe even Sunday just for a fun, because I'm also adding some graphics. So I might do that as part of my fun on Sunday, not actually working, but just playing. Deb says, is there a yard for the dog? There is. And it's really funny because Austin is like, I love this backyard. The guy that's in charge of the house is a landscaper. So he has got a beautiful raised bed garden back there. There's three different beds, I think. I know two for sure. There might have been a third. And then he's got a whole bunch of bags that he's using to plant things in as well. And it's just they've got a nice back porch. It's all fenced in. And it's just very comforting. It's very nice back there. And Austin likes growing things and doing things with the dirt too. So I'm hoping that he gets an opportunity to work with Aaron. And then what's funny is the garage is there, and their fence is like a wooden fence. But then where the garage is, on the side of the garage, the neighbors put a fence there, and it's chain link. And they've got a lab. So Bowser has a friend that they can at least rub noses and stuff. So, but it's good. Austin's really enjoying the back porch, and his roommate that shares the balcony room there had mentioned that he wants to get 2 nice chairs and a table for out on the porch so that they can go out there. And Austin gets up at 5:15 to do Bible study right now, and he's kind of at a loss of things to do because he's not schooling, and he's trying to settle into that place. So I told him, he's got Millie's book, so I told him he should go out there in the morning, early mornings, and just sit and relax and read. So he's, oh, that place is just neat. It's a really neat place. It's a very inviting place. They have a huge, big table, which is really thick wood. I should have taken a picture of that, because it really, when I walked in there, I was like, oh my goodness, this is just so awesome. And they eat dinners together, and then the living room has 2 big couches, and it's very inviting. Lots of plants. It's very inviting. Miss Kelly, you have been heavy on my mind. I miss you so much. I know you're really busy with your stuff, and I am too busy with my stuff to even return a card to you, but thank you. And just been praying for you guys with the fire. Boy, I didn't realize it was that close to Millie until yesterday when she said it was 7 miles away. That's pretty darn crazy. That's way too close for comfort. Way too close for comfort. And then I'm sure, Kelly, with Mike being involved in the fire crew, that is pretty heavy on the heart, too. Deb says, howdy, Kelly. I finally got the pic of us posted on the community page. Kelly says, sounds like Austin's job is promising. Yeah, I'm excited. It's only 4 miles from the house, and it's a foot in. It's very part-time right now, but he ends up with space between terms that he could take on more hours, and eventually, you know, I think things will lighten up. But just to have a couple hours there making a little bit of money, I know is going to build Austin up greatly, because he was really feeling crushed without having a job. So I'm grateful that, you know, it's a guy's makeup. It's like their responsibility, and when they can't do that, it takes away from their character, I think. And I get that. So I'm really grateful. But like I had said before, there's just no way that boy could have done any bit of part-time work while he did this last term. There's just no way. It was so full. It was so very full. And the summer course, I don't know how hardcore it will be, but it's 4 days a week, 6:30 to 3 instead of Monday through Friday. So I'm just hoping he doesn't have the way it sounds, it's all hands-on, so there won't be stuff after class. So it'll give him downtime in the evenings, and then also Fridays and Saturdays to work. So it's pretty awesome. Mill says, very cool, Shelley. Yeah, being able to hunker in front of and just read. Yes. Oh gosh, I can't wait to share with you guys what is coming in the mail for me and how I am going to utilize it and where. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Suspense. I'm going to share with you as soon as it arrives, though. Let me see. Kelly saying hello to Miss Mill. Kelly says, I'll take a look at it, the pictures. She's telling Deb she'll take a look at the pictures. Deb says that's so cool to have a wonderful yard and gardens for them. Yeah. And just a lot of things to nurture them, and the dog there to nurture them. And I think I shared this yesterday, but I'm not sure. I get to go to church with Austin on Sunday, and I am so excited. I watched their service online. I started to watch it yesterday. It's kind of painful. It's on Facebook, and Facebook for some reason breaks up when I watch it. And the audio is not very clear because of how they're recording it. So I saw enough to really draw me in. The pastor is just so passionate, and he was just singing his heart out. He plays the guitar and he's singing. His wife sings. There's a bass player, a drum player, and I know there's another instrument. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, the pastor, when he was singing the chorus on these songs, he just would throw his head back and sing from his toes. And it was just so awesome. And Austin said that it is just so upbeat the whole way through. So I am so excited that I get to go and join him for church, because I really wanted to see what it was like. I mean, I got a glimpse of it when I was there, and I'm sure that this is not going to disappoint. I'm sure it's going to be what I was anticipating. Carol, you're in the house. You know, you've been heavy on my mind the last couple days. Since you didn't make it yesterday, I was just hoping everything was okay. And I know you've got a life that it's not all surrounding Trayer Wilderness or Mountain Women Radio. But I love you, girl, and we missed you. Shelley says, definitely sounds like he has found a great place that will help grow his soul. Yeah, and also he got to help with the food bank on Tuesday. or Monday, one day this week, he helped with the food bank, which was really awesome. Austin is a helper. Austin loves to help. But Austin wouldn't separate himself from his schoolwork and do things because he's so one track focused, which was good in a lot of ways. But at the end there, I started to teach him how it's important to step away and refresh yourself and renew yourself in different ways and come back because you'll be fresher. So he's starting to get that. And I think now in his environment, there'll be more opportunities to serve. And I know that that just rocks his world. So yes, so many wholesome aspects to the whole thing. And he had so much food. It was really funny. I didn't realize this, but his room was bigger, and I didn't realize they were all doing this. But they have opportunities at the food bank. So, and they have food bank every week at the hangar and even at SCC, and which is awesome for these kids. Well, these guys were hoarding food because they would hit places of feast or famine. There was points for Austin that it was a little sketchy in the beginning and stuff, and even throughout. And, you know, we would try to help from afar, but so we're moving, and I went to move this big corner pile of stuff, and Austin's like, that's not mine. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, that's the other guys. They didn't have room in their room, but my room was bigger, so they were all storing it in here. So they were all storing food, and Austin had an abundance of food with what we provided because I gifted him my deer for Christmas. We had butchered it and packaged it for him, and I had my mother-in-law and I both send Austin care packages from time to time too. So anyway, we get in the house, and you know, they're only given so much room with all the guys in the house to store their food. And we went through everything because Austin's really trying to eat healthier. Being in the circumstances he was, he couldn't eat as healthy as he would have liked to. Now he should be able to eat a little healthier, which will help him because stress and Austin don't go well, and it added pounds to him over these last couple months. So anyway, we put a gift box together for the guys there in the house that they could pick from and choose from. And it wasn't bad stuff, just stuff that wasn't as healthy for Austin as it could have been. So, you know, some with dairy and different stuff. So, so we were able to bless them too. But it's just a neat group of guys. I'm real excited. Let me see here. Whoa. Mill says Austin should ask if they have a cornhole game to play with his roomies in the backyard. If not, they could make one. We love playing the game. Something to do. Yeah, and he took, I know he has Uno, and he's got cards, because we play like a game called 13, and he has dice, because there's another game we play, Farkle, with the dice. But that's a good idea. I'll have to ask that. Let me see. Uh-oh, sorry to hear that. What happened with Carol? Oh, I made it not feeling good today. Sorry, sister. Are you guys really hot over there too? Do you have the heat? We will send prayers up for you. I already see Kelly is doing that. Yep. Shelley says, I plan on dehydrating with my solar dehydrator on Saturday. I have some kale and oregano to dry. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for the nudge and sharing about the solar dehydrators, because with the 20% off on items on Amazon, I was able to purchase myself one. So I have that coming too. So I'm real excited. So I can do my comfrey and nettle and my tea. So I'm excited about that. Kelly says, I'm dehydrating garlic scapes today. Awesome, awesome. Mill says, hopefully you feel better soon, Carol. I wonder if you caught what little Lorenzo had. Oh, I didn't think about that. How is Lorenzo doing too? Is he 100% now? Shelley says, praying for your health, Carol. And Toika says, good evening, Carol. Yeah, so funny. And then if Keith was on here, it would be morning, I think, because he's like a whole day ahead. Carol says, just a sore throat and a cold, but it messes up my COPD. But Lorenzo is a walking big machine with nursery school. I love it. And I loved his T-Rex. That is hysterical. Oh, gosh. Tammy, you have to share that video of Caleb in the dinosaur suit. That is so funny. I laughed so hard with that. And when Carol shared the T-Rex that Lorenzo got, it made me think of Caleb. So you guys need to share those pictures in the community because it is so funny. We have a lot of new people joining in the community. I'm so excited. And on YouTube, we've grown by 20 people, I think, since Monday. So that's big for Trail Wilderness, and I'm excited. And thank you guys for liking and commenting and sharing and subscribing. We had a lot of new people join yesterday. I put out a newsletter, so a bunch of my newsletter subscribers came over. So this is really awesome. So keep spreading the word. We're reaching people. This is awesome. I get it. Carol said a walking bug machine. I get it. Yeah, I know. I remember those days when my kids were little. Oh my goodness. When my daughter was little, the whole first year of her life, we took turns going to the doctor's office every week. It was terrible. It was terrible, terrible. That's when I started removing antibiotics from my thinking because we became immune to them all. It was ridiculous. Toyka says, Carol, did Lorenzo... Yes, I already read that one. Mill says, Carol, try some oregano, lemon, and honey tea. Yeah, that'll work well. That works really good. Yep, he shares everything with Nanny, lol. Thank you, Mill. Toyka says, we'll be praying for quick healing, Carol. Yes, us too. It's no fun being sick, and I think it's worse being sick in the summertime. Carol says, 2 likes and 9 people. Come on, guys. I love you guys. Oh, and Fuzzfoot joined us yesterday. I actually went over and checked out some of his videos. I didn't get a chance to watch the entire one. I got pulled away, but he works with gourds. He grows the gourds and then he designs the gourds once they've dried. He did a video on that, and I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. But he cracked me up yesterday because he came on yesterday and he said he was here to see the dancing ladies. And I said, well, you'll see the ladies, but I don't know about the dancing part. And then he said Fuzzy's in the house, and oh, that cracked me up. So it's Fuzzy. Evidently, that's what he goes by. So we just have to call him Fuzzy from now on. Deb says prayers for Carol and Lorenzo. Yeah. And Tammy says, I will try to find it and share it in the community. Oh, good. The dinosaur. That is just so stinking funny. I know. I'm excited. Deb says that's so exciting that the community is growing. Yeah, we're growing really well. I'm very happy. You know, sure, everybody wants to have a huge multi-thousand community and YouTube channel and subscribers. But you know what? I want authentic people. I want people that are here for the message. I want people that are here because they enjoy being here, not just numbers. So I'm very happy with our growth. You know, I want it to be, we're looking for a genuine community. And that's what we have now, and that's what we want to keep. When you get big, fast, and you draw in crowds just for numbers, that's where you end up with trolls, and we don't need trolls. So I am tremendously excited. Twicka says, wow, 20 since Monday. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Carol says, that's awesome news. We got lots of new people. We do. And it's been really fun to have them joining in. Mary Smith joined us yesterday, and Mrs. Teacher Lady joined us. And then last 2 lives, we've had some really nice people joining in. Kim from Alaska joined us yesterday also. So we have good people joining. I'm so excited. Deb says, thanks for a reminder of liking the video. Always do this. Yes, thank you guys. That really helps a lot. And for those of you that are watching in the background, oftentimes we have a lot of people that watch but that are afraid to comment or get involved. I get that. But we have a really loving community. But if you're out there and you're watching, or you're watching the replay, if you're new, please subscribe and be sure to click the bell next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified when we're adding new videos. My radio show, my podcast is shared here as well. I try to do every Friday, but that sometimes ends up being every other Friday. But I'm working on editing a lot of videos in the next couple days too, along with working on my book. So there'll be other videos coming. We have a lot of educational videos that just need to be edited, and it's just hard shuffling it all sometimes. But my time is freeing up a little bit because I am no longer searching for housing. Also, be sure to like, share, and comment. We love your comments, and I want to ask this of you guys. Funny I put it that way. If you are watching and you have questions about off-grid living or homesteading, don't hesitate to ask your questions. There is never a stupid question, and I do truly mean that, because if somebody's asking a question, it's because something is not connecting with them. And, you know, sometimes we take for granted because we know what we know about what we do. But there's so many people out there that are learning or desiring to learn, and it's just not clicking, or they need something to fully connect the dots for them. So if you have a question, please know that no question is stupid or foolish or anything like that. Ask your question. And if you don't want to ask it here, you can ask it in the community. If you don't want to ask it there, you can email me at ask@trayerwilderness.com, because we're also going to start doing Q&A sessions. I would love to get the mountain man involved in the Q&A sessions. So you should hopefully see more of him in the next 2 weeks. Yay! I'm excited about that too. So we'll share more on that then upcoming. He's got a lot of fabricating work to do here also in the next couple weeks, but his job will be lightening up a little bit here. So he'll be able to be on the homestead a little bit more regularly, that in the hours that you guys are present and joining me. Let's put it that way. So there's lots of links down below. Feel free to check them out. Many of them you will receive a discount for visiting there. They have different specials and offers. I wanted to mention something today. Rocky Mountain Oils is one of the places that I purchase a lot of my oils from. I like them because you get points for all your purchases, and then you can use your points towards their items. You also they do a lot of buy one, get one free. They do a lot of different specials. They do a lot of free shipping most of the time, depending on the size of the order. So there's lots of benefits to getting from them, and I really like their oils. Right now, I have peppermint and cinnamon going through my diffuser, and that's one thing I'm super excited about. That is one of the very few, actually only really, electric appliances I have in my house besides my gadgets and my laptop. So I have that thing running all the time. They pull very low wattage, so it's something you can get away with if you're off grid. When it's cloudy, maybe not so much if I kept it running like I do now. But peppermint is very cooling. So with this heat, if you get extremely hot, to prevent you from having heat strokes and just being overcome by the heat, you can take peppermint oil and put it on the back of your neck, and it's very refreshing. It's very cooling. I carry peppermint with me when we're hiking as well. I carry lemongrass, peppermint, lavender, and there's another one. Peppermint, lavender, lemongrass. I know there's another one. Darn it, I can't think of what it is. But I carry those when I'm hiking also. But I love my essential oils. And it was really funny when Mountain Ben came the other week. He goes, I love coming into your house. He says it smells like fresh wood, good home cooking, and essential oils. I'm like, oh, that makes me happy. Because when I walk in my house, I smell dogs. And I guess that's just because, I don't know. I smell dogs. I don't smell all those good things. So I'm really excited that when somebody comes to my house, they're comforted by those smells. So that makes me happy. Carol says, I love cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon is one of my favorites. And I mentioned the oils. You can go to trayerwilderness.com/oils. That will help us. We do get a small return from your purchases through there, but you get a big return with the discounts and the bonuses, and you are not affected by the pricing. You actually get better benefits through using our link. So anytime you need oils, if you just use trayerwilderness.com/oils, that will greatly help you. And I will keep you posted on their specials because sometimes they do have some really tremendous ones. I actually just put my order in, which I haven't done an oil order in a long time. I've been pretty well stocked, but because I'm able to use my diffuser, I've been using them a lot. It's just very refreshing. And that's exactly why I put the peppermint in today, because I'm like, that's just cooling. So I'm just going to feel cooler because I'm breathing in the peppermint. It's all the mind thing, I guess. But anyway, Tammy says Rocky Mountain oils are great. Carol says, when I was in America, I kept eating the cinnamon chewing gum. It was awesome. Yes, I love cinnamon. Cinnamon has always been a favorite. Cinnamon and cranberry. The cinnamon is really good for you. It's an anti-inflammatory. You do need to be careful with cinnamon oils. They're very strong. Um, Shelley is back. Welcome back. But there's hot oils. Like oregano is a hot oil. Cinnamon is a hot oil. I know there's a couple others. But those two really come to mind. Peppermint can be a little hot. You got to just be careful with your application of it because you will feel the tingliness from the peppermint, but that's also where you get the cooling effect from. And then when you sweat and you have the peppermint, you get a really nice cooling effect from that. But cinnamon and oregano need carrier oils, and you do need to be careful with that. If you're using them in food, the same, you just need to be really careful, make sure you're mixing things up, because also going down like oregano oil, a lot of time, like a couple years back, there was a big oil craze, and a lot of people were pushing to do oils internally. And I will admit, I do use oils internally, but I'm very careful and I'm very mindful, because just like with a drug, a pharmaceutical drug, you know, you do need to be careful with oils and herbs and natural medicines too, because you can overdo it with things. And oregano oil, if you were just to put a drop on your tongue, you would probably burn a hole in your esophagus, or in your tongue for that matter. And cinnamon would be the same. They're very, very strong oils. So you need to be, clove is another one. You need to be careful of that. So when I'm doing anything internally, they're in a capsule, with the exception of lemon oil, which I do drink in my water sometimes. But again, you put very little in with your water. So it's just important to be mindful of those things. Not fearful, but mindful. You know, you need to have a respect for stuff like that. So how many of you signed up for the foraging webinar and went to the foraging webinar that Herbal Academy had? You can find their link down below. The foraging class is available, and they've got a lot of classes, and they offer a lot of free things. Their website is loaded with amazing herbal information. You can find them by going to TrailWilderness.com/Herbal Academy. I've been associated with them for a very long time, and I really love their classes. And am gaining a lot. My goal is to get certified in all of their classes. The other thing is Mountain Rose Herbs, which is also associated with the Herbal Academy. I've been using them, though, I think longer than the Herbal Academy. They have fabulous herbs and are really starting to do a whole lot more. It's like they've suddenly had this very big shift in what they are doing and how they are promoting themselves and what they are doing on their website. So I want to encourage you guys to go there too, because they've got lots of recipes and really good stuff, and their herbs are top quality. So you can go to TrailWilderness.com/MRH, Mountain Rose Herbs. Yeah, I had to think about that. And don't forget Seeds for Generations. If you need more seeds, and seeds should be something that we are preparing forward with and stocking up on. I know many of you purchased your seeds for your growing season, but it's really good to have them on hand moving forward. Carol says the only thing I can forage where I am is Asda, Sainsbury, Aldi. Oh, the supermarkets. I realized it when I saw Aldi. You're so funny. You can forage in your backyard now. Sounds like you got an overgrowth. So you can forage in your backyard. It doesn't have to be wild edibles. It can just be edibles. So did you bake your little potato? Right before I got on here, I went out and put potatoes in my sun oven, which was at 250 degrees already from the morning sun. So my taters will cook good. So I might have lunch and supper today out of my taters. Tonight is Bible study, so I wanted to make sure that that I'm equipped well with food for this evening for us. So the sun oven gets a lot of use. I will be offering a sun oven class too upcoming. I'm not sure when here yet, but that will be upcoming. So I'll keep you posted on that. I was here earlier, but the nurse came to check my little lady. Yeah, you said you might have to jump off. So glad you're back. But there's a lot of links down below. I kept all the books in there so you guys could check those back out. And again, I need to do a blog post because I couldn't even get all of the books in the description below because YouTube has a limitation on the number of words you can use, and there was too many. So, and we have a lot of books. You hear me say it a lot, I really feel a physical library is very important. You know, it may sound dinosaurish to many, but think about how we learned initially, and having those books on hand and having the right books and having good books. You know, there's a lot of books today, a lot of people publishing books, but I really seek tried and true. And a lot of the books we have are old books. I really like the way things were done traditionally, and I like heading in that direction. And having those books on hand really are helpful in any aspect of life, regardless what happens, that we have the knowledge available to us. So, and I know Miss Kelly has lots of books too. I ought to do a book post on the community and have you guys share your favorite books there, because there are some really awesome books available. And like I said, I do like the old ones. I really lean toward the older books. So today's topic was and is study, grow, and sharpen your skills. And that is something that is broad. That's not just in our life, but in our different aspects of our life. You know, some of us go out to work, some of us are stay-at-home moms, some of us are homesteaders, some of us are self-employed and work from home. So we have different avenues in our lives. We also have different hobbies and crafting things that we like to do, things we like to do on the side, different activities such as sporting things, and some of us like to get out and forage and do healthy things for ourselves. So there's lots of different aspects where we can study, grow, and sharpen our skills. And I have a question for you guys. This keeps popping in my mind, so I feel like I need to ask it. How many of you struggle with a negative mindset towards doing things, in the regard that some of the... Sorry, I saw a shadow at the window, like somebody was peeking in my window. It's my flag blowing, but it was just a little weird at first. I heard that, Miss. It's probably the cat or the wind. It's okay. It's kind of funny. I saw a shadow, and then we hear this thump on the side of the house. It's the moose. It's okay. It's okay. Pardon you. Miss Carol, that was for you. Woo! Don't do that. Mrs. Mrs., do you think you need to be seen? Mrs., say hi to Carol. Tell her. Say hi to Carol. Tell her. Tell Carol. Tell her. Mrs., are you going to tell her? Tell her what you have to say. Mrs. You big duffer. Mrs., tell Miss Carol. Tell Carol. Are you going to tell her? I know you want to. Your tail's wagging. All right. Anyway, she came over and was like shoving her nose at my camera and almost knocked it off of here. So anyway, I lost track of what I was saying because we had a thump. The question was, how many of you struggle to do tasks and go at tasks with a negative mindset because your chores are maybe not your most favorite thing to do, or through different circumstances that you've maybe become resentful of having to do certain things. And because I asked that because there was a time when there were certain things I was a little resentful for because I didn't feel appreciated when I was doing them. And it aggravated me because I worked really hard, because I have a really good work ethic. and I know many of you do also. And I know there were times, like, I loved my jobs when I was working out of the house. I loved my jobs. But when my kids were little and I was missing out on things, I also know that at that point I started to resent my job because it was keeping me from something I wanted to be doing. So I ask that because when we are in that negative mindset because we are having to do something we may not choose or wish to do, because not everything on the homestead or in an off-grid place is charming and alluring and pretty. Sometimes you have to just do the dirty and the ugly. And Deb and Kelly, I know Kelly's often mucking out stalls and doing things like that. There's dirty work. Now, some people may consider that dirty work and not enjoy it. I always enjoyed doing that because I got a really good workout. Even though it was stinky, still got a good workout. But perspective, you hear me say it all the time, and this thought has come to me so often, about wondering how people approach tasks, chores, responsibilities. And then how do you approach fun tasks, things you want to do? So my guess is when you do things that you want to do, you step into them in a very happy way, correct? And you're very productive in that because you are happy doing it and you want to be doing it, correct? Well, the same applies to the not so alluring chores. When we go into those with a better mindset, you're able to get through them faster. You're able to get beyond them, and you're not in this grouchy, terrible place. And I know people that live out of that grouchy, terrible place. I'd hit that place sometimes in my life, but I never enjoyed being there. So it was always, and sometimes when you hit those places, it's something you need to reevaluate, because why is it that you feel that way? Like I shared with you, at one point I felt really resentful because I was working really hard and really striving to have, let's say, for example, the house looking really nice. And I cleaned and I was working really hard. And next thing you know, there's a project that's taking off, and there's all kinds of dirt all over the place, and it's not being cleaned up in that specific area. So now it's drug all over the house. And I do feel my time is valuable. And I think it's important that we learn to communicate with others when we have issues in a certain area. So in that instance, I did communicate that, and just so that we can have a better plan, so that when I do clean the house, it's after the projects are done, so that I know that those are going to take place, so I don't waste my time, and so that I don't feel resentful or hurt because I'm making such great effort, because I love my family. I love my house being welcoming, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way. So, when you feel like your efforts are kind of squashed and squandered and not noticed and not appreciated or respected, you start to just not enjoy doing them sometimes, because one of the reasons for that is because we don't vocalize our feelings. And that is something that we're responsible for. So we need to address those things. So if you are feeling poorly about certain tasks you have to do, and there's purpose or reason behind it, and there's feeling behind it, it might not be a bad idea. It's a wise idea to communicate those feelings, so that those feelings don't continue. Because when we allow ourselves to be in those places where feelings continue to spur and they start to deepen and grow roots, that's where bitterness, resentment, and all kinds of nasty stuff come together. And when they grow roots, that's not a good thing. And oftentimes it becomes harder to get out of that place. That's the enemy having a field day in your life. So I want to point that out. The other thing is, sometimes we want to be playing more than we are doing what is required. And playing is good, but the thing is, you need to look at your chores on your homestead as a way of playing too, because you are creating. Those are stepping stones to amazing things and the ability to do amazing things. So mucking a stall enables you to have goats that you either are milking or eating, and they're providing for you. Same with chickens, you know. So you benefit from them being there, and when you have to do the ugly chores, it's all part of it. So perspective, and it's so much easier in life when you can rattle through the stuff you've got to do and find joy in it, or just be joyful when you do it, not necessarily that you're finding joy. Put some music on and jam and get it done fast, so that and get the ugly stuff done and get it out of the way so you can do the stuff you want to do. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that I'm resonating with you guys. So I would love your feedback, and you may be sharing things with me. I've been busy and concentrating on what I'm saying. I'm going to check the comments, but share with me your thoughts on this, and share with me how you go about your day. Share with me as to whether you struggle with negative emotions when you have stuff to do. And also procrastination plays a role in this too. Oftentimes when you have chores that you don't like, you procrastinate on them. So for me, I like to get things out of the way, like I said when I first got on here, so that when I look around my house, those things aren't calling me. Dishes and dirt on my floor, or whatever the case may be, so that I don't have to look at those things anymore. And it does give me joy because they're done. So when you procrastinate on those things, you just continue to compound them nagging at you and them also weighing you down. So I see lots of comments here. I need to take a drink. All right. Let's see. Carol says, we've been eating our lettuce. Nope, Lorenzo walks around with this little spud. You're not allowed to touch it. Just look at it. Oh, that's funny, until it rots, right? Oh my goodness. Carol says, hope everything's okay, Shelley. Let me see here. Kelly says, foraged red clover and alfalfa yesterday and dehydrated for teas and healing salves. Both of those are so good. So good. Clover is really good for your blood. And alfalfa has a lot of properties for us ladies and is really good to take on a consistent basis. I like alfalfa a lot. Shelley says, I might just be at the Bible study for a little bit, trying to make sure to get good sleep before the heat hits. No worries. I totally understand and totally appreciate that. No worries. We'll just be happy to have you. And for those of you that are curious about our Bible study that are not part of it, our Bible study is like, if you're new to Christianity or you haven't participated in a Bible study before, don't feel intimidated by it. It's a very casual, loving group of women and sometimes men joining in and just going through different aspects. Right now we've been covering foundational parts of Christianity and of our faith, and that is prayer, learning to forgive, boundaries is another one. Boundaries is a very, very fabulous one. And we will progress to working through certain parts of the Bible and going through the Bible to get a better understanding of it. But I wanted to start with the foundational things. And we would love to have new people joining us. It is every Thursday evening at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And if you can't join us that way, you can become a part of it and watch the replays and join us that way. And if you're an introvert and don't want to, don't enjoy being around people, that is also another option for you. But we usually go roughly an hour. And it's not just all study, it's also caring and lifting each other and seeing what each other's prayer needs are and how we can be lifting them through the following week. So it's it's a relationship. It's a fellowship. It's a lot of fun. So you can look it up and join us by going to trayerwilderness.com/Bible study book club if you are interested. We really enjoy our time together. But Kelly, that's awesome with the red clover and the alfalfa. I absolutely love those two herbs. Carol says, I went to Sainsbury and got a beef rocket salad and horseradish sandwich. Oh my, it was so awesome. That sounds good. I love horseradish. My horseradish that Miss Tammy gave me is coming up nicely. And I can't tell you the last time I've had beef. That's kind of funny. We either are deer or elk at this point, sometimes chicken. But we do have some good sources for beef, and that's one thing we would like to get is a cow. Actually, a couple. Shelley says, I have a DIY encyclopedia set that we have that goes into building homes, etc. Yeah, some of them are pretty awesome. I have a couple encyclopedias and digests and different things like that too that are really amazing. One of the ones is a Reader's Digest one that are hard to come by, and unfortunately when you purchase them they're anywhere from 30 to 50 bucks a piece, but they are very worth having. Tammy says, just found a juvenile reader from 1853. It's amazing. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Austin has a couple old books that he found at the thrift stores that he enjoys too. One of them is in German. So that's pretty cool too. Carol says, my foot muffs. Carol says, I have sometimes gone in with, let's just get it over with and done with. Yes. Mill says, a Ridgeback. My bestie has two beautiful babies. Yes, I love her. She is my dog and I am her people. She's crazy though, and she's big, and she does not know how big she is. This morning she almost took me out trying to let her out the door for Pete's sake. Who's Pete anyway? Jane says, happy sunny day. Hello, Miss Jane. She is in the house. You always have the best one-liners. You got Millie good yesterday. I can't remember what you said. Yes, I can. Shenanigans in Idaho. That was perfect. That was perfect. Kelly says, Cortney is the stall mucker. I'm the milkmaid, lol. Butchering is my negative chore. Yeah, I can see that. And we do that together, so it is kind of nice having a partner when you do that chore. But yeah, there are some. There are some that are just not pretty chores. Some that are not, not ones you look forward to. But it's nice when you can go about it in a good way that you are not ruining your day because of your state of mind, through that process. So it's good to be able to get your mindset right when you have to do the things you don't really care to do. It just makes it go faster and go better. Kelly says, I agree. Mindset makes things better, or it can make it so much worse. It sure can. It sure can. And we all know that with our kids, as far as when we share with our kids to do a task and, they don't want to do it. So they make it this painful thing, and it ends up just being this painful affair because they battle the whole way. We've all, I think, experienced those moments, and it's not fun. So mindset, and the thing is, we as adults have a tendency to do those things too. So when you're watching your kids and they're driving you crazy because they have a poor mindset to clean their room or do the dishes, think about that when you're doing some of your things too, because our kids learn best from our examples. So it's always good to monitor ourselves, and it's study, grow, and sharpen your skills. So part of the studying isn't necessarily studying in a book or on a video. It's also studying what we are doing and how we are going about it. And that studying can also be looked at in this regard too. If you struggle to get things done at home or on your homestead, or if you're living off grid and you struggle to get everything done, analyze your time and study how you're spending your time. Because that 45-minute scroll you spent on Instagram or Facebook could have been spent differently on the homestead that would help you to get your stuff done on the things you were procrastinating on because you didn't like doing that particular chore, right? That kind of thing. So, let me see. Shelley says, I fertilized my first pumpkin yesterday. I have only had one female flower as of yet. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can't even speak today. It's all coming out jaded. Jane says they fester. That's even an ugly word. Exactly. And then to think about what they do, when you got bitterness and resentment and so forth festering. I mean, picture a nasty, this is gross, but a nasty, pussy wound. I can't speak. That's what's happening inside of you when you are dealing with bitterness, resentment, and stuff like that, regardless if it's towards a person or a project or whatever it is, So we've got to learn how to handle those things and handle ourselves better. So let me see here. Shelley says that is so cute, Carol. Lorenzo and his new pet Spud. I like it. His Spud named Spud. Tammy Richards says, I love to work. The biggest frustration for me is when I am working and everyone else is playing. Yeah, sometimes that can be really tough. And that's where we need to, because I used to feel that way too sometimes, because being mom, sometimes you just we feel like we're forced to keep working when others choose not to, because we want to get things done. And sometimes some stuff has to get done. But in those situations too, we need to analyze what we're working on. And sometimes it's good to pause and play, even if it's for 5-10 minutes, because that will relieve the level of resentment we feel when we're in those positions. And maybe that's what we're being prompted to do. I've thought of that a lot, and I did actually do that with my kids when I would start to feel that way. And even around adults, sometimes some adults are so much more willing to play first and work later. So it's finding balance in those things and finding balance in that situation. But taking that small break and doing that may remove the resentment we feel, because I like to work too. And I also like to get I like it when I start something to be able to finish it. So I am struggling a little bit with my herbal garden, because digging up all that grass and getting that out of there is really hard work, and it's hard on my hands and my elbows and my shoulders and my wrists, and it's a tedious process. So I'm wanting that to get done so much faster, but I'm also trying to realize that I want to enjoy the process. So you got to find the balance in where we struggle, rather than just continue to be stuck in the struggle. We've got to figure out why we're struggling, so that we don't spend life in a state of struggle, because it's stress and unhealthy. So I saw Mr. Keith on here, and I am so glad you joined. I owe you an email, because I think that'll be a good way for us to communicate, because I think YouTube is onto you sharing such really good stuff, because I see your comments, and then I can't read the whole thing, and when I go to click on the whole thing, I can never find the comment. And I really think that YouTube is censoring. So I don't like censoring. I like the whole story. So we'll start emailing. But Keith, I wanted to tell you 6.2 is my number. All right, so let me see where we're at here. Kelly says, Tammy, that is hard for me too. Yeah. And that is part our work ethic shining through. And sometimes it's good to just let our hair down and play a little bit. So that's part of what we do, is finding a happy balance. One of the examples of that is we were working one time on the farm, and I had the hose in my hand, and I was watering things, but I was kind of tired of watering, and I kind of wanted to play. So I went from watering the plants to watering my men. And suddenly it turned into a very big water battle, which ended up happening that I needed to clean up the kitchen afterwards, because it started outside, but there was only one hose. So one was filling buckets, the other was by the window in the kitchen with the sprayer from the faucet, and the hose was getting sprayed in the house. So it ended up being a real mess, but my floor was really shiny when we were done. And we played, and we had a good time, and then we went back to work. So sometimes we need to just break and play. There's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes, you know, it may be a more constant thing where you're working and playing, and maybe, you know, we need to rope them into doing, understanding that helping you would enable you to play a little more. So that's where you got to express your feelings. So it's not always easy. That's dirty work too. But you know what? Once you do it and you express yourself and they understand and it makes things clear, things change. So I don't know. Obviously, this was meant to be discussed today, so this is good because you guys are giving me a lot of feedback. So Deb says, I totally love doing all the chores and always have enjoyed all the farm ranch lifestyle. All weather, snow, rain, heat. Passionate about nurturing animals, plants, and human beings, relationships. Yep, exactly. Me too. Me too. And those chores are not chores to me. They're, I don't know. I just, honestly, when I'm outside doing our chores, I am so engulfed and just so love it. When I'm stuck inside doing chores, that's, I think, where I struggle the most. And oftentimes I struggle being in front of the machine too long, which is very difficult for me because it's my livelihood in a lot of ways. And it's also the way I do everything with you guys. So I got to find a balance there of doing some and then outside and then some and then outside. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm finding a good mix. But it's a matter of fine tuning it and figuring out what works, figuring out why you feel the way you do, and addressing it, because leaving things go is not the solution. It's not the solution. Deb says, totally agree, Tammy Richards, about the playing part when others don't pull their weight. Yes, the mountain man struggles with that too, and as do I. Kelly says, hello, Jane Buck, cloudy and cooler here. Praise the Lord. Yeah, how is your fires, Kelly? You know, I said that you were so heavy on my mind. Millie said that they were pretty close to being out. So are you guys much better as far as your fire threat there? Do they have it contained? And forgive me for not asking that right away, because that was on my agenda. Deb says, I've had a lot of jobs working on my own and making it happen in many directions. A bit harder now for some reason. Well, and that's another subject we'll talk about then, because I thought about talking about that today too. And that is organizing your homestead and your home so that anybody that is present can do what needs to get done. And that's important, whether it's kids, women, men, all things need to be accomplished, you know. So setting, one of the goals we have here is setting our homestead up so that if Glenn's not here, I can do everything that needs to be done without struggle, without strain, without possible injury. That's the most important part for us out here, is the part with the injury, because I can't, if I were here by myself and I got injured and I called 911, they couldn't get to me anyway. I am behind a locked gate. So I would have to be able to get myself to the gate, to unlock it, to get them to me. I also have life flight, which would fly in here, which could fly in here. But again, if you get injured so badly and you can't make a call, you know, it's a risk. So having your homesteads and your home set up in a way so that you can, as you age, also be able to do things. So, Deb, we're going to talk about that then on another episode, because I really feel that there's great importance to that. And I was always used to being able to multitask and to get her done and to make things happen and to find solutions if I couldn't make it happen. And as we age, we'd certainly hit limitations there as well. And I don't like it any more than anybody else does. One of the things I've been doing is trying to continue to keep myself strong and building myself up so that I am able to do things and keeping myself in a healthy place. That's really important. Our health and we could still be strong into our 80s if we are mindful on how we live our lives daily. So, but stamina and energy, those things can decline. And again, they don't have to be permanent declines. If we are mindful of ourselves and our bodies and realize where we are starting to slack or have issues, we don't need to put that big quote on either side and say we're getting old. our body needs something different. You know, for women, we start lacking estrogen. And when we lack estrogen, it causes other hormones to have issues. So we also start lacking collagen as we age. But we can add collagen to our diets. We can add things to our diets. We can continue to monitor ourselves and study ourselves and grow and sharpen our skills so that we are aware of what we need to do to keep our stamina, to keep our strength, to keep our vitality. So it's really important that we continue in life always, in all circumstances, to study, grow, and sharpen our skills. So I'm learning this as I go as well, because I'm hitting places, and I had already hit that place with my healing. So now I'm hitting this place in, you know, yeah, I'm 51, so there are some things that are occurring, and that's normal. But there's also a reason those things are occurring, and I can make a difference in them. So just being active, honestly, plays a huge role in our vitality. Stretching, twisting. Twisting is really important, guys. And stretching. It keeps all of our muscles limber. It keeps our organs stretched and functioning. And when our muscles are too tight, everything underneath struggles to operate the way they're supposed to. So by stretching and twisting, we are keeping ourselves, like if you've ever done any twisting, here's a perfect way to test this. If you sit Indian style and twist gently to the right, and then come back to center, and then gently twist to the left, and do that 2 more times. And the first thing is to pay attention when you start there in Indian style, how tall you're able to be, how your body feels, and then go back to that central position and breathe in and see how much taller and longer you feel. Because when you stretch, you give your body the ability to stretch out and to do what it's supposed to do. So when you do that, that'll be a perfect test to show you how we're keeping our bodies squashed and squandered and unable to do what they need to do. So anyway, let me see here. Mill says butchering bothers me because of the smell. I admit it's a struggle with that chore. Yeah, the smell, especially if you burn the feathers off of the turkeys or chickens or any poultry. But yeah, raw meat in and of itself can have a really funky smell. It's something you've got to kind of become accustomed to. So when you're butchering, yes, there is definitely an odor in butchering animals. And some people don't enjoy the killing portion of it. It's not something that I get all excited about. The end result is what I'm excited about. So the process can be a little daunting and intimidating and overwhelming for some people. And then you add the smell to that. But what I try to tell people to do is focus on the reward at the end, and that's the end result. We all know we will never find anything better than turkey or chicken broth from a homegrown bird. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we go again. I'm getting hungry. I haven't had anything to eat since early breakfast. Jane says, I've never asked for assistance even when I worked. I just grunt and do it. I'm a routinist. Old person thing. I always struggled. I was that way too. And then I hit a place where I had to ask for help. So I've gotten better at that because I'm learning too that there's certain things I can and can't do. I will be able to do them better once I've got better core strength. But it would be really foolish of me to injure something more now and prolong my healing process. So there are times where I ask for help. It did not come easily though, and it was only as a result of being flat on my back and unable to do much of what I was able to do. So, but before that, I was Jane. I just did it. I was just determined, and I was excited and proud of myself for being able to do things. So, yeah, you're not alone. And there's other people out there that are doing the same thing. Jane says, Mill Vicks under your nostrils. Seriously. This is true. Actually, I would skip the Vicks. Vicks freaks me out because that's petroleum based. I do essential oils. Lavender, lemongrass. Lemongrass is really good because that will actually, word left me, keeps coming and going, but it basically desensitizes your sniffer a little bit. So I use lemongrass when I go into like the grocery stores and I got the soap aisle. But that would be a really good one to use as a lemongrass, but don't use a lot, just a little bit. But yeah, Jane, that's a good idea. Very good idea. Just peppermint, anything. A smell that you like. Deb says, my hardest thing is my body injuries. Knee and elbow are catching up with me and makes it hard to get around as fast now. Just have to take one step at a time forward. Yeah, and you know, adjusting too. Sometimes we are just going to have to adjust to some things, and that's the hardest part in life, is adjusting to things. But mindset plays such a big part in all of that, and that's just it, Deb. Learning to do one foot at a time. Plus, like with your knee, you said that, you know, you'll have that taken care of before long, so that will give you your vitality back. But we'll also learn in these processes that by getting our vitality back and building ourselves back up in that regard, it also builds back up our confidence and our abilities to push forward. Because when we start feeling like we're getting old, we start living out of that place mentally. And that is not a good place to be, because when you keep telling yourself you're old, your body listens. So I started that when I was 6-7 years ago, and I am not doing that anymore. It didn't take me long at all to change my wording. I wasn't old. I was just in a situation. And we have the ability to bring ourselves back to health and better vitality by changing some of the things we do in our lives. So be an advocate for yourself, and do the work, do the study, do the grow, and sharpen your skills. So Mill says, also have issues with chores that cause me pain. That is hard. And that is where I totally can relate. So the thing is, too, is finding ways on your homestead and at your home to make those chores easier in your circumstances. I'll give you a perfect example. We put our fruit trees down in the, for lack of better places or descriptions, the valley. And we have them over there, and they're fenced in. Okay, so the mountain man's arms are much longer than mine, and he put the fencing around with the intention to be able to water with the fence up and around it. Well, Stubby here cannot reach the trees without taking a stool down there to get my arms to the right place. So this morning I was thinking about this, because the last time I watered the fruit trees, this is what I did. I took the gallon jug by the bottom and I pinched it so that it was, so I could hang on to it. And I just started hoisting the water out of it so that it would go up and down to the roots of the tree. Because it's the only way I could do it without going and getting a stool and taking a stool down there to water these fruit trees. So I was thinking about today, I'm like, you know what? I just need an old piece of pipe, and I can set it up there and then just dump my gallon jug into it, and it'll go right down to the roots of the tree. Because we do need to keep the fencing up. Eventually, it'll be that I can walk right up to those trees and water them, because they'll be part of the garden space. But right now, they are just singularly fenced in. So it's just a temporary thing. But even so, when you have to do a chore and it's painful, or it's inconvenient, or not working, try to find a workaround. You know, there's ways we can do things. There's using levers and pulleys. There's lots of different things we can do if we really analyze it to make our chores a little easier. You know, there were times, okay, the other homestead, I could not lift at the very beginning when we got the composting toilet there. I can't lift in front of me. My lats are my weak spot, and so is my core. Those used to be my strongest parts, and they're the weakest right now. And it is hard on me because I was always very proud of keeping them strong. I could not pick the blasted thing up to carry it a distance because it hurt my lats. So I put it in the wheelbarrow and I wheeled it where I had to get it. I got it to that point and then I'd wheel it where I had to get it. So you make the job easier so you don't hurt yourself, because hurting yourself just sets you behind and puts you behind and makes the task harder. And also, the mindset is going to remain negative because it's a pain in the neck. And I totally get that. So there might be ways to make your chores easier. And if there is, that is definitely something you want to do, because if you're struggling now, you will likely struggle later in life too. So make the chores easier and adapt them so that you can do them without the frustration. Mill says, Deb, I know what you mean. On the new homestead, I have to now practice watching my step and keeping my head up and eyes forward. Trees constantly stick your face if you're not looking up. This is true. And you know what's really funny is in the beginning when we started our channel, if you go back and look at all the videos, I had glasses on, sunglasses on. Now, I have the same sunglasses, but they're dark now. I can't find those light ones, but I wore them all the time. There was a reason I wore those glasses all the time, because if I was trekking from the homestead into the woods for something, if the mountain boy was joining me, if he was ahead of me, I wasn't a thought. The branch that was in his hand came flying into my face, and if I didn't blink fast enough, it was in my eye. So I was wearing sunglasses all the time because it kept my eyes safe. Because when you're doing chores, if you're working with power tools also, you know, oftentimes stuff flies in your face. So they are actually safety glasses, but they had a light tint to them, and you could use them as sunglasses. So I was wearing them all the time, but totally hear that. And watching your step, guys, oh my gosh, do I hear you. This land that we are on right now is so lumpy and so unforgiving, because when we were tearing out stumps and getting things, you know, prepared for us to build up here, it was wet. So we wanted it to be nice and flat, but in order to keep progress moving, we had to do things when we had to do them, and it was still wet up here. So there's so many ditches and trenches, and oh, I'm always watching, and I always wear boots up over my ankles so that if I do stumble, I'm not tearing up my ankle. So wearing the right gear, you know, I just realized in saying what I did, wearing the right gear on the homestead can play a huge role in that too. So, but yes, I totally hear what you guys are saying. Jane says, when we were remodeling, we did the deck and yard done first, so we had a happy spot to retreat to for the rest, or to get strength to go back in and continue. It was such a mess here, and that stress. That's smart. Having your happy spot. Well, and you guys saw my happy spot, which is our fire pit. I'm also creating another happy spot, which I'll show you soon, because this new happy spot has shade. The fire pit does not have shade, and granted, I plan to use that a lot in the winter or in the evening, but I find myself going to that happy place during the day. So yes, absolutely, and I totally agree with that. Is having a place you can take refuge on your place when you do have and you are just building and creating things. That is very important, very, very important, because we need to be able to regroup, renew, and find our happiness. We shouldn't have to leave our homesteads for that, or our homes. Keith, I hope you heard me say hello, and I'm gonna shoot you an email. Oops, let me see. I will shoot you an email, but I wanted to tell you 6.2. Keith will know what I'm talking about. Let me see here. Mill says, okay, Jane, I'm going to do that next time. Vix. Yeah. That does, you know, that is a really wise suggestion. Putting something in front of your nose that will help alter what you're taking in. That helps a lot. Deb says, I miss the playing times working with my husband who had a way to make all the work funny with laughs in a way that it never felt like we weren't getting our work done along with making it fun. Yeah, I can totally relate to that because Glenn and I have a blast doing what we do. And I think that's why we view what we do as play. You know, we love doing firewood together. And he's got such a funny sense of humor. And we both do, but he does such goofy stuff. So he's like the comic relief all the time, which makes it so much fun. So I do get what you're saying, Deb. And you know what? That will come again to you. That will come again to you. God's timing can be the hardest sometimes, but I foresee that in your future. So you will have those times again. But yeah, you know, having that. And the thing is too though, if you're stuck doing chores by yourself, you can make it fun. At least I do. And I don't know if that's, you know, I like to listen to music. So I'll listen to music or I'll listen to something funny like a podcast or something while I'm doing things. Or honestly, when I'm here doing my projects, I'm never alone. I had 3 dogs and 2 cats. Now I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. The other day I was trying to restring the weed eater and I had a dog's tail up my nose and a cat rubbing up against my leg. And I was having a heck of a time seeing where the string was going because they were both needing to be in front of me and helping me while I was doing it. So that kind of makes it aggravating sometimes, but at other times I just stop and laugh because it's like, okay, a divine moment of furry friends. But make your times fun. You know, I enjoy finding ways to make my tasks fun. Tammy says that was something that always impressed me about the Amish and the Mennonites. No matter who they visited, they could always step in and help because things were done pretty much the same way. Yeah. Yeah, they were never lacking of helping. And you know, that's something that they have such a strong community. They are always helping one another. So it is really nice. So if you have a community of neighbors and friends locally that you do work with, you know, that does make the chores a lot more fun. I know Kelle has been teaching people how to butcher. I know that Deb has been teaching people how to garden, you know, so doing those tasks and doing them with other people, makes the job so much nicer and things go so much faster when you're having fun. Kelle says, so leaving the dusting and telling folks not to touch anything is wrong. Well, I'd rather be outside, so if you want to see a clean home, come in the winter. Exactly. I love that. I love that. Yeah, my mom would always come and that would be the first thing she would do is check to see what my dust accumulation might be. And I do like to, I do dust because in here being 180 square feet, if a dog ruffles a bed or the door's open or a window's open, I've got pollen and dust coming in all the time. So I am dusting all the time, but it is not my main focus. You know, I like being outside. I like doing the other chores and some things just have to wait. And I've heard you say that before, Kelle. So I love that. I love that. Tammy says, yes, Kelle. Yep, so does Shelley. Yep. We've got chores that there's things that have to get done and there's things that are important and there's things that can wait and can be done at another time. And we just got to learn to let it go. You know, sometimes we're so, you know, we have to get it all done, but you know what? You just got to let it go and be okay with that. You know, I shared with you guys when the rug was ripped out from under me and I became a single mom, I realized real fast that dishes were not near as important as spending time with my kids. And I valued that time with my kids. So I could do the dishes when they went to bed, you know, or I could do the dishes in the morning, or they could wait till the next day. If I had an opportunity to do something with my children, I would take it, you know. So, and there's times that you have to get stuff done, but there's also times that we can be lax and give ourselves grace, and we don't. So let me see here. So Mr. Keith says, yes, my saddle and a bale of hay on the kitchen table. All right. Do explain. That's your chore that you do or don't like. Let me see. Kelly says the fires are well under control. Had lots of dry lightning in the prior mountains last night, but had no call outs. Praise the Lord. Yeah, no kidding. Don't you freak out. I love lightning storms. I love electrical storms. But when it's dry like this, oh man, when it starts, it just makes you cringe. Just makes you cringe. Deb says, totally understand your situation, Mill. Head up and watching each step. Totally me too. It's me too, but I end up stumbling across my yard. Oh my goodness, you guys would laugh if you would see me, especially when I was weed whacking the other night with a headlamp on. I have my thing across my face, so it's creating steam under my glasses, and I'm wearing a headlamp. Yeah, it was not the wisest of things to do, but I got it done. Got it done. Let me see here. Mill says change of plans. Essential oils under the nose would be more healthy. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Jane. I didn't mean to blow that out of the water, but Vix and I don't get along. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Anything with petroleum gives me the heebie-jeebies because my body reacts. Shelley says, yes, Mill. Plans always seem to change and essential oils sound much healthier. Although the foot nurse swears by Vicks for toenail fungus. Probably. There's a lot of good old home remedies for Vicks. I would just make my own healthy version of it using my essential oils and coconut oil. So, but yeah, I mean, some of the old remedies, one of them is turpentine, intaking turpentine, and I've actually done that. I've got a healthy version of turpentine that I mixed with honey and was taking for a while. But there's a lot of old wives' tales, a lot of old traditional recipes that would make a lot of people today cringe. And Vicks has I've seen a lot of Vicks usage. So one of my pap's favorite things was a drawing salve, and he would use bacon and black pepper and put a Band-Aid around it. And it would draw out a splinter or whatever you had in your hand. Wake up smelling like a piece of bacon, but let me see here. Deb says, I'm praying about all the needs for my knee. I know I need to get better at regular intentional exercise other than just working chores to get used to rehab exercise. Been researching it a lot. Good. And you know what? Exercising is good. I love to walk, and the old man here can't walk. Not Glenn, the dog. He can't walk far anymore. I feel like I'm hurting him to take him for a walk. So we'll walk around the property here a little bit, and then I'll bring him back in the house, and then Mrs. and I'll go for a good walk. And it's good. It's good to get in a regular routine and to figure out what exercises help you and not harm you. And seriously, guys, a regular routine is really healthy. And even just stretching and weightlifting is really good for our bodies. It keeps us strong. Weightlifting is really good for women. It helps to get our hormones going well and operating well. So and I've always loved to lift weights. So that's one of my favorites. But that's good, Deb. Do the research and figure out what's going to work best for you. And getting in that routine, because I know, many of you that homestead, Kelly, Deb, Mill, Tammy, our day-to-day chores are not anything short of a good workout in a gym. We are getting good workouts. I have an app on my phone that tells me how many miles a day I walk. I monitor that. I do the study. I'm always curious. But like the best workout I got, rather than just laying on my weight bench, is I brought in 3 loads of wood the other night, and it's like, that is just such a good workout. So when you can figure out what works best for you and realize that you're doing much of it already, squatting is a really good exercise that strengthens the legs and keeps the legs toned. And I do a lot of squatting. When I am lifting these big logs, I am squatting to do it because I don't want to hurt my back. I don't want to give myself a hernia. So I'm using my legs. So it's also being mindful of how we are doing our chores on our homestead too. But we are all doing hefty work and really working hard. So it's important that we pay attention to that and maybe adjust it to even give us better benefits. But a really nice, relaxing, leisurely walk, or a treadmill in the house, or a exercise bike. You know, I've had an exercise bike since I'm 18, and my weight bench. I got them at the same time. That way, in the winter months, I can ride my bike and keep fit the way I like to. And then I lift weights all year long. And that's just something that I've done pretty religiously since I'm 18. Actually, before that, but that's when I bought my own. Kelly says, as Mike and I age, we're learning to work smarter and not so hard. Yep, and that's just it. And if you put that all into the thought process when you're creating your own homestead or your off-grid homestead, it's really helpful, so that when you're putting things in place, you're already mindful of doing things in an easy fashion. You know, when you're young, you may not want to do it in an easy fashion, but as you get older, you have to. You have to look out for yourself and be a little mindful of that. So when you set things up on the homestead in a way that you're preparing for you as you age, you got to remember that by doing that, you're also enabling your children to do the chores too. So it's beneficial. Ha, Jane says, I bet I say that daily, either to myself or Hub. Work smarter, not harder. Yes, me too. Often. And I say that in front of the computer screen too sometimes, because of the mental aspect of that, you know? So yes. Shelley says, we have a septic system in our side yard, and last year someone was working on them to figure out their placement or something, and they found a large rock and removed it. Now we have a pothole. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what my yard is like. We removed all those stumps and now we have potholes. That's funny. Yes, it's exactly right. So we do have to be careful, you know, and when you're setting up a homestead, you really have to have safety in mind. And you know, most people don't think of those things. And we're used to flat yards. We're used to groomed yards. So when you're building a new place, it's going to take a while for it to get there. And like my garden, there was a big stump in the center of that we removed. So I'm taking away from high spots and filling in that hole so that I can level things out. But I'm also doing that all the way across my yard. And the other thing is, when you have, like for us, I showed you I weed whacked all those scrub oak like type plants. I got them out of the way with the blade, and then I've been weed whacking. Well, when you're going through tall grass, which is what I did the other night with the headlamp on, you can't see sometimes the big holes. And I did end up falling in one that was probably about 8 to 10 inches deep. So again, I'm very thankful for my Carolina boots. That are my Keens. But yeah, you got to be careful, and you got to think about all kinds of things in when you're setting things up initially. But you know, if you bought the place and now you're aging, learning how to set things up so that you aren't working harder, that you're working smarter. And sometimes it's not a real hard fix, like just something as simple as watering my fruit trees. You know, we just have to think out of the box. And if you don't have a mind like that, search YouTube or ask the Mountain Man. Mountain Man would love that if you inquired on how do I do this. He would love that. So that could be part of your questions you ask. Mill says, you're right about having the right gear. We broke down and bought ice cleats for the first time because it's so much safer. Yeah, oh my goodness. We've had a couple. I did not get them yet, but we've had a couple episodes where the driveway in the old homestead and going from the big house to the cabin would get really icy in the wintertime. So yeah, you know, a broken hip, nobody needs a broken hip and all that healing time. So Keith says, got it, Tammy. They didn't keyword it out. Oh, right. Yeah, you never know. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. Kelly says, sometimes doing chores alone is so hilarious. The animals always act up and you just have to laugh. Otherwise, I'd cry. Our animals are such a source of pleasure as well as laughter. Okay, I'm really glad to know that it's not just me, because I used to struggle with all this stuff. Now I walk around my homestead hysterical and talking to myself most of the time. And if I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to a furry animal that's tripping me up or running. I mean, I told you guys the other week, we're all heading to my container the other day. All the dogs and all the cats. Well, the blind dog can't see the cat. That cat walked right between his legs. They both tumbled and rolled together, jumped back up and kept running in a straight line because they didn't want to get out of sync with me. And there I am almost peeing my pants laughing. It was the most hysterical thing. And if I'm not doing that, talking to myself or laughing at animals, I'm praying out loud. So I'm a sight. If there's a drone above me, my hands are flapping because you know I talk with my hands. So yeah, so Kelly, thank you, because that's me too. And that's actually me more now than anything else. I find such joy in everything I have to do, even the mundane, probably more so in the mundane, and also in the things I don't like to do because I make it a point to find some way to make it fun. So I do that with everything in life now. So Mill says Keith has a saddle and hay on the table. I know. He's our comic relief today. Dev says, please pray for my other happy being in my life, Sterling, as he is on another road trip to Baker City, Council, Idaho, to visit grandma's, and then Boise for his first jiu-jitsu tournament. He's by himself. Well, we are definitely praying. Absolutely, sister. And that is awesome. You'll have to let us know how he does in his tournament. Keith says, just joking, Mill. Hey, you never know. You never know. That's really funny, though. Oh, Mill says, prayers for Sterling, Deb. There you go. And Kelly is lifting Sterling in prayer for his travel mercies and time of fellowship. Shelley says, praying for Sterling and safe travels. Mill says, isn't turpentine made from pine trees? Yes, it is. Pine pitch. It is. But if you've ever used turpentine to clean up paint, it's in a bottle that and it's got lots of warnings, and it was processed in a factory that is not very safe to consume. I actually purchased mine as a consumable turpentine from one of the southern states. I want to say Virginia. I'm not sure. And it smells amazing, honestly. I used to think turpentine in the can was overwhelming. And even more so when I got sick. But I love the smell of this turpentine. And then you mix it with honey, and it's really good. Of course, you've got to be careful on your amounts and everything, because the first time I did it, I was like scared to death, waiting to see if I was gonna like blow a hole in my stomach or something, because the turpentine was gonna eat a hole. But nope. But do be cautious. Shelley says, years ago, my mother-in-law made me a Watkins liniment, yes, the stuff for horses' muscles, in tea to help get rid of a cold. It worked, but boy, did it burn on the way down. My mom would heat up wild turkey whiskey with butter and brown sugar and give it to me to get rid of a cough and a cold. And yes, I can totally relate to that, Shelley. It burned the whole way down, but soon after I didn't feel much else. So So yeah, that's what my mother gave me. Anyway, Jane says, prayers for Sterling. Kelly says, hate to run, but need to move irrigation on the hay pasture. Have a blessed day, everyone. Love you, sister. Have a good rest of your day. You are in my thoughts and prayers daily. Tell Cortney I said hello. And Mike. Deb says, thanks for all the prayers, faithful friends, for Sterling. Absolutely. We will definitely be praying for him. That's really awesome. He's just such a free spirit. I love that he's like that. And I'm sure you do too. I'm sure it also, it gives you a little bit of anxiety. But the growth is just so awesome. I wanted to say something because we were talking last week about having to separate from toxic people in our lives and having to walk away from situations. And Keith had shared how he had moved across the world to get away from his and his different life experiences. I'm trying to remember how he put it. Keith, you'll have to remind me, but it was fast women, horses, and something, dogs. Help me. I'm not remembering exactly your sentiments, but I thought about it a lot this week. Because one of the things I said that prompted that is because of our early life circumstances, sometimes we end up seeking love in the wrong places, and that's where that came from. And I wanted to remind you guys that shared with me last week and that we're so transparent and that, we all have stories. We've all walked through hard things, but I want to share with you guys, just like I do my men, that I'm so proud of you guys because you walked through the hard stuff and you learned from it and you became powerful, amazing adult individuals that have such a unique story, have such a unique testimony, and are reaching lives despite the chaos you might have walked through or walked away from. And I just want to tell you all how proud I am of each of you and how amazing you all are, because you guys all play a role in my life in one way or another, in a very positive, nurturing, friend, family way. And what I had to walk away from, I'm blessed to have been replaced with you guys. So I just wanted to share that although you might have walked through something hard, if you personally shared and you're not seeing it, I wanted to just let you know how amazing you are, because you all have such talents and such amazing abilities. Sometimes we don't see that ourselves. So I just wanted to share that today. So those were my thoughts. Deb says, bye to Kelly. I've been in my front pasture dragging pipes around while listening. Nice to stop, get a breath, to make a comment once in a while. There you go. Don't overheat yourself, man. It's getting really warm. Kelly says, I posted about Bobbi in the prayer group. It's a praise update. Fabulous. I saw something go in. I haven't had a chance to check it. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I will check it out and I will share that with everybody then. Really appreciate that. I've been praying for that girl so wholeheartedly. And guys, please forgive me because I know I am not keeping up very well. Between commenting back and responding back and so forth, and even posting, I'm not doing well, but I'm trying to get myself in a really good schedule that I have a set time to do that every day, because I hate leaving people hanging. So if you've emailed, commented, or messaged and I haven't responded yet, please know that I do see them and I do look at them, and it just takes me a little longer to respond. And you'll understand a little bit more why in the next couple weeks. We've been working on some things and I just can't share about them yet, but you'll understand. But please forgive me. I love you all, and I really do appreciate your communications, because it's really wholesome. It's really awesome to have a community that communicates and asks questions and shares and cares. So really important. Yep. Shelley says, do not overdo it, Kelly and Deb. Yes, yes, I agree. Shelley says, I was really happy to see that comment, Kelly. Oh, I'm going to have to go look then. Shelley says, God is definitely working on that issue, Kelly. Jane says, oh, you're amazing too. Oh, I try, but you know what? It's just amazing to see what God is doing and has done in your lives. And, I'm so grateful for you guys being so transparent. There is such power in transparency. There truly is. And it takes great courage to be transparent. I know that because it's taken me a long time to share the things I've been sharing, and to share, our weaknesses, our struggles, our mistakes, to share all those things. It takes great courage. And when you share them, you're building in this community, because so many other people are realizing they're not alone. And, so many people feel like they're alone in this world. So it's amazing what we're doing. Oh, I saw your message, Jane. So Jane says, take a deep breath. No one's getting upset. Oh, I'm not worried about anybody being upset. I'm just amazed at all of you. Seriously, I'm just so amazed at all of you. Shelley says we completely as far as, okay, I understand what you're saying about the comments. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you, thank you. Just call us Caspers. I love it. So I have something I want to read to you guys here today. Understanding and excellent wisdom are found in you. Daniel 5:14. Even though Daniel lived in captivity, he refused to settle for mediocrity. This brought him to the attention of the king of Babylon, who said, I have heard of you, that the Spirit of God is in you, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom are found in you. What a resume, and what a reputation. And what a rebuke to those who just want to get by. The Bible says, do you see only truly competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. The way to get noticed and to get ahead in life is to study, grow, and sharpen your skill set. And this is just not in our day-to-day. This is in our faith too, guys. Question. Do you have a mediocre attitude toward your work, your relationships, and your life in general? If so, consider the level of frustration you'd experience if the people who served you had that that'll do attitude. Sorry. What if a waiter served your food cold and your drink in a dirty glass? Do you think you'd complain? If so, imagine how people feel when you give them shoddy workmanship or a could care less attitude. They say excellence is its own reward. Yes, you'll be rewarded for excellence, but your biggest reward will come from knowing you did your best. Aristotle said we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So we can create that, guys. Observe the lives of people who excel in their field. Study their habits and learn from them. Identify their character traits and seek to develop them. Bottom line, only when you have done your best can you trust God to do the rest. And it's very true. And the thing is also is when we do things not only our best but joyfully, regardless what it is, we create a better atmosphere in our world for ourselves, our families, our children, and will hopefully inspire others to mirror that. You know, how we do things really makes a difference. And I refuse to walk through life doing things that give me, that make me feel miserable. And like I said, some chores we have to do, they might be miserable, but we don't have to be miserable doing them. And we don't have to stay in that place. And I just refuse to allow people around me or circumstances to change my good spirit. I just won't. I won't do that anymore. I've done that my whole life, and I refuse to do that. Refuse to do that. Keith says our humor is very different here. Read a Good Keen Man by Barry Crump. He was a friend of mine and had the hay on the table, Melodine. I'll have to take a look at that too. I got to do a screenshot of that so I can remember to look at that book. It's very funny. We've discussed that before, as far as different countries saying and doing different things, and the humor, like Carol Stones for their weight versus our pounds, and just the funny things that we say and that you say. And I really enjoy our mixed crowd. I really enjoy it because there's so much coming from it. Deb says, pretty good breeze going on right now, makes heat. The good breeze is definitely nice. We had that the other day, but I'm not sure what we're going to have this weekend. I can hear the breeze now because my wind chime is going, so that's nice. It's always nice to have a breeze when it's hot out. Then you put your peppermint oil on your neck, and oh, it'll feel really good. I'm going to read this one too. The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. Psalms 19:8. How you approach reading the Bible is crucial. You must do two things. One, approach it with integrity. When a new Christian in a Bible study group says, I've had a hard time believing some parts of the Bible, the others smile and applaud. They didn't do it because unbelief is good news. They did it because he'd finally gotten honest enough to admit his doubts. Don't worry. God's not upset with you. Until you're willing to talk about your doubts, you can't solve them. When Thomas questioned the resurrection, Jesus showed up just to convince him. And he will show up for you too. It's a mistake to try to force yourself into believing something or avoid reading it so you don't get disturbed. Jesus said, when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into all the truth. He will glorify me because it is from me that he will receive what he will make known to you. And number 2, read it with expectancy. Once you've been to a book signing, met the author, and gotten his autograph, you feel very different about the book. You treasure it. And when you read the Bible with an expectant heart, the author shows up. As you read his word, you begin to sense his presence and realize he is speaking to you personally. Jesus said, the Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you, they are full of the Spirit and life. When you come to the scriptures with a hunger and an expectancy, you never go away disappointed. And that's very true. And I like this because I want to correlate it with what we've been talking about too. We've talked about expectations before, and oftentimes our expectations are what cause us disappointments in life because we are expecting people to do things, to act, to know what you're thinking is typically what we are expecting other people to do. We are expecting other people to know what we're thinking or what we are wishing for or what we are requiring, and then we're disappointed when they don't respond. Well, in this case, this is an expectancy of being fulfilled. When you go to the Bible with an expectancy of being filled by the Spirit and the Word, and you can look at your tasks the same way by seeking them with expectancy of finding joy and happiness. I think that's why Kelly and I find such great joy on our homesteads and find happiness in the oddities, because that's what we are expecting and enjoying. And I wanted to correlate these two because we also need to understand that God needs to be a part of every aspect of our lives, not just when we decide to sit down and do devotions, but when we're on the homestead working, keeping us safe, when we're on the homestead and helping us to do tasks that might be painful or that are hard for us to do because of limitations. My hands are giving me great trouble because of their strength and their abilities, and it makes me frustrated because I used to have very strong hands too. So opening things is very difficult right now, and different things that I have to do. So I get where you guys are coming from, but we need to look at God as our source of strength and abilities and look to him with an expectancy of finding joy and happiness in the moments, even when we are unable to do things. And I know that sounds a little odd, but he's going to use us where we are. He has us where we are for a reason. And through that place is where we are going to grow and get strong because of what we are learning. So I always look with expectancy for him to mold me in situations when I'm lacking. And he never ceases to amaze. So I hope this all makes sense today. And it's really crazy because all the thoughts I had were put into this devotional. And this devotional was from the 23rd. And I've been having these thoughts to share this with you guys for a while. So I need to learn to act on my thoughts because it's the Holy Spirit. And I know that. So, oh, I got you, Deb. Deb says, make the heat reasonable. Yes, that makes sense. So do you guys have anything else to add for today? And remember, if you have questions on homesteading or off-grid living, feel free to leave them in the comments below because the Mountain Man and I are going to start doing Q&As. And if you want, you can also phrase those questions in the community. And you can always send me an email, ask@trayerwilderness.com. And Keith, by the way, thank you for the music. Yes, I did enjoy that. And because of playing that in Spotify, it helps choose additional music, and I found some more. So that was very cool. So thank you. I really need to email you because I have lots to share with you. So Thank you very much for sending the Manuka honey to me and the letter. That was just tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. I'm very indebted. I'm very grateful. So, Jane says, praise. Had hair trim yesterday. New growth starting. Yes, yes, yes. Did you ever get any answers from the person you were going to see? And are the results coming as a result of the things you've been doing, you think? Have you done anything different? Because I know you were doing the biotin, and I know you were doing different hair treatments. So that is huge. That is so, so huge. Next week, I want to share, I think I might share some stuff with you guys. That's exactly what I was going to say, Jane. I think I'm going to share some stuff on things to consider when you're aging. And this is going to be pertinent to all age groups. So hormonal is one of those. But, yep, I can see that, Jane, totally. And I have to believe, I truly believe that COVID is messing with hormones. I don't think it's an accident. Drinking. I'm not understanding, Jane. What am I drinking? Or that I'm going to share on drinking next week. Aging, yes. Carol got quiet again. I wonder if she had to run off with little man. Are you still out there, Carol? So I'm going to say a prayer for us so you guys can get back to your today. Get back to your day. Lots of good stuff shared here today. I think that there was a lot of things that people that are beginning in this lifestyle could really gain from, and also those that are dealing with different limitations, and also just a perspective analysis. You know, we need to definitely do that. We need to analyze our perspective on things and our mindset, and we need to analyze sometimes also our expectations of things, because I think that's why so many people in this life are disappointed and often in an unhappy place, because their expectations are not being met. And we can't expect other people to know what we are expecting without vocalizing that. And sometimes our expectations might even be of ourselves, and we are in a place where God has us where he needs us to be, and we are expecting ourselves to be better, or what we once were, and we aren't there right now. So we need to also, that's where grace comes into play. Let's see. Deb says, hormones have been my biggest change in my life, in decline, and praying that they will level out soon. Then I'm definitely going to touch on that, because I have some really, really good resources for everybody. Facial, hair, hormone, strength. There's a lot of areas to this that are going to get covered. So I will share things that I have found that have made a tremendous difference in my life, as well as supplements and things being added to my diet. Keith says, I met Kate when she was living in her car on a beach in North Cal. Amazing talent. You know what's really funny, Keith? I had this thought last night when I was listening to the music and wondering if you had met her in your travels. She's very earthy, and that's why I liked it. And I like that kind of bluegrassy. I can't even quite categorize it. It's just soulful, maybe, but not the same soulful that most people would imagine when you say that. I think you know what I'm saying, Keith. But that's very cool. I'm not surprised to hear that at all. I'm totally not surprised. Very cool. So I'm going to say a prayer here so you guys can get back to your day and get working. I have some wash to hang, and I have to finish filling my shower house and my tank upstairs. Oh, I believe it. I saw the pictures of her, and I totally believe that. A very simple beautiful. I don't know how to put that. But yeah, I totally could see that. I don't know why, but a Karen Carpenter kind of popped in my mind at the same time. Like the same but different. But I believe that. It was, yeah. She had big heart, and her music displayed that. So pretty cool. Um, all right, so I'm going to say a prayer here. Papa, I just thank you for your love, your mercy, and your grace, for guiding each of us, for helping us through our walks in life, some of which have been good, bad, and ugly, and for some extreme. And I'm grateful for the transparency in our community and how we are able to lift one another and support one another and see each other's qualities and abilities, and to be able to just nurture one another in such an amazing way. I really love that. And I'm thankful for your presence here. It's very felt. And I just asked that you wrap your loving arms around our entire audience and just love on them. Give them the strength where they need it. Help them to study and grow and be strong in who they are and in all that they do. And we just lift great praises that Jane is seeing new hair growth, which is tremendous. We lift great praises for Bobbi. I will share that next week, and read that later today. But I know that you are working in that little girl's life, and I know that you are answering prayer. I knew you would, and I'm just thankful to see your hand in that. And we are anxious to see how you're going to work it all out, as you are in each of our audience members' lives, as you have in Austin's. It's amazing to see your hand at work. Be with Shelley and help her to get the answers she needs. Be with Carol as she's not feeling well today, and just strengthen her and help her with her caring for the little man and him spreading germs. And just be with everyone that is dealing with chronic pains and illness, Mill and Laura and Jane, and be with Deb and just help her with her pains too. And just help and guide and give us all wisdom and knowledge as to how to renew ourselves and to find new vitality in our lives and not just settle for old. Your people of the Bible lived long, long lives, and it was a result of your wisdom and knowledge and guidance and the wholesome food and things that were available at the time. And we seek that and seek your wisdom and knowledge to guide us to know what our bodies and our minds and that we need and what we need in our lives. Be with Sterling and just give him travel mercies and keep him safe, and give him success in his competition. And be with Austin and just guide and direct him and give him wisdom with his new job. And just thank you for huge praises for all you have done for him. And thank you for blessing the Mountain Man with the work that you have and the new position. And bless Keith for his kindness and his blessing to me. And just be with everyone. And we just thank you for the new people in our community, and we ask that you wrap your arms around them too. We thank you for the abundance and the wisdom and the knowledge and the guidance and your constant companionship and fellowship and relationship with you. And we love you and ask all of this in your holy and precious name of Jesus. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. You guys are so renewing to me, and I feel so rewarded every time I'm live with you guys, just in your transparency that you're sharing, because I know we are touching lives. I'm not just doing it alone. We're doing it together. Mill says, I'll definitely try to check out your friend's book, Keith. Yeah, I always love book recommendations. I always love that, because I just gain so much from them typically. They're usually that divine implant. Jane says, and all God's children say amen. Amen. And Mill says, have a great day, everyone. God bless. Prayers for all. Amen. Yes. So, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Be safe. I will see you Monday. Yes, I will see you Monday. And and Thursday. Yeah. And for those of you doing Bible study, I will see you this evening. So enjoy the rest of your day. Stay cool. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. I love you all. God bless.